guys, we have special guests Hedy Wong and Hisonni Johnson from The Takeout Girl. Guys, first and foremost, I have to say, this movie touched my heart. Hadn't heard about it, got assigned the project, and I was like, what is this? First of all, let me just sing a few of your praises. Won Best Director at the American Black Film Festival. Robert Rodriguez Indy, a Tour of the Year Award at the Bare Bones Film Festival, Raising Voices Award at the Disorient Film Festival, and the list goes on. So congratulations. You guys are kind of like the Film Fest darlings. And there's a buzz that's been created in the last couple of months, and everyone's really talking about this movie. And so my first question is a two-part question. And I'll start with you, Hisonni, and then Hedy, you can give your answer as well. So as we all know, May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. We just had Mother's Day and celebrated Mother's Day. Why was it important to have this movie be released in this month of May, considering both of those two things we deal with in this movie? Hisonni, I'll start with you.
Oh, well, well, the film is pretty much a love letter to our moms. Hedy made the film to kind of show her mom that her mom had done a good job, like raising her and creating her, and that she wanted to cement that I'm gonna be something moment. And I think she did that with Takeout Girl. With me, it was a way of immortalizing the single mom struggle I watched my mom have. And I also, for me, it was a way of, my mother passed, but it's a way of showing her that I learned all of her life lessons well, because I watched her turn a dime into a dollar to raise me and my 4 sisters by herself every single day. So if she could do that, I could make fake this look like this on camera, or make a small budget look like a big budget on camera, because it's kind of a small task in comparison to keeping 5 children alive. When it comes to releasing during Asian American Awareness Month, I believe that is critical, because this sort of film really doesn't exist for Asian Americans. Hedy we call this film Crazy Poor Asians, because the story hasn't quite been told yet. And I believe it's important that people understand Asian Americans are not a monolith, just like they should understand African Americans are not a monolith. And I think me and Hedy busted our butts to make a film that showed another side of Asian American culture here in the country.
Hedy, do you want to add anything to that?
Man, he did such a good job. Good job, buddy. Yeah, just to, just confirm that, because of this month, I am very happy it's come out during this month, because I think our end goal is really to add another texture to the Asian American narrative in Hollywood or in cinema in America. So, and hopefully we did that.
And Hedy, again with you, how would you describe this film to our viewers? What would you say it was about?
Oh, it's about, I'm gonna try to say it a little different this time. I think it's about a girl who was very unhappy with her circumstances around that time, and she feels a lot of guilt towards her, towards her mom, or guilty. She feels guilty and she feels sorry to her mom, but she doesn't know how to make it better. And she just got this idea that maybe if I can get more money, maybe everything will be better. And she made certain choices to do that, and she followed through. Right or wrong.
Listen, I'm still goosebumps about this movie. So I'm sitting here screening the movie, first 20 minutes of the movie. I was like, the parallel in what they're doing with the cinematography of this movie is fantastic, because you talk about in the movie how you felt invisible. And the first 20 minutes of the movie, I was like, who is this girl? Does she have a name? Why is she the stereotype of, being in school and being Asian and being the smartest kid and people wanting to cheat off you, all of that stuff. And I don't want to give it away, but I was like, did I miss something? Do I need to pause and go back? Did we introduce her? And I'm getting, you know, connected to this character. And I just thought you guys did a beautiful job, because when you linked it into, you know, just like the Asian stereotype, the fact that this character specifically felt invisible, and then me as a viewer watching thinking like, hey, I'm connected, but also I don't even know who you are, so you are invisible. Was that something you guys were going for?
For me, I'm just telling it from a place of truth, from what I know, you know, and invisibility, you know, Asians are known to be, you know, the invisible minority, you know, and we don't really like when media paints us as the model minority, because they're not really, it's not really celebrating us. It's actually using that myth to talk down on other minorities. You know, they're kind of using us, pit against us, against other minorities. But the one thing I do know is true is that we're only make up about 6% in the US, and we're statistically insignificant. And I think it just drips down from there. It just drips down from there. But in this movie though, Tera knows that. And she was like, you know, how do I turn this, you know, lemon into lemonade? You know what I'm saying? But it is a social commentary on how society perhaps, you know, views other minorities in the community, you know, and we see that as she's biking. I think this is in the trailer too. She's biking and she passes the police officer, you know, taking in a Black man, you know, and stuff. And the heat's not on me. I'm a little Asian girl. The heat ain't on me, you know? So I'm really using the stereotypes of what society put on me for my advantage.
Right.
You know, but you know, but in the bigger picture, invisibility really feeds into our dehumanization, as we can see, and that's going on during this pandemic.
100%. Hisonni, I wanted you to talk a little bit about the parallels between, and I'm going to say the Black experience instead of the African American experience, but the Black experience and the Asian American experience or Pacific Islander experience, because you do see a lot of that in this movie.
Well, I think the greatest strength of the film Takeout Girl is that there's an Asian American lead, but her story is so relatable to all minorities here in America. And it's because the common thread all minorities in America have is that we've been given a very strict place in America. And with that place we've been given, there's certain things we need that we can't get, certain opportunities we want that we can't obtain. And somehow each of these groups have managed to turn this terrible situation we're in into a strength. And to be honest, that's Tera, Takeout Girl's superpower.
Mm-hmm.
It's that she has been, she's turned everything that should be a horrible situation into her superpower. She's born into a melting pot of a neighborhood where everybody's suffering from systemic poverty, and she navigates that dangerous and intimidating neighborhood with ease because she's mastered the language of every scenario. She can speak to kids at a rich college because she's good at code switching. She can talk to her mom much different than she talks to her brother and her cousin, who are hustlers, you know, and we watch her seamlessly move from one world to another. And then also just taking a situation that seems desperate and would crush someone from, and I hate to say it, and I'm stereotyping a little bit, but like myself, and this is something I infused in the story, a lot of situations that would have crushed some of my friends who grew up in the suburbs and never knew desperation like I did, they made me strong. Yeah. And they made her strong. They made her stronger than the average person. I think that's what makes her really, really fun to watch.
Absolutely. Now, in this movie, and I wrote it down in its semi-direct quote, you wanted to amplify your AAPI Indigenous voices by focusing on the commonalities in the upbringing of both of you. So my understanding is that this is based off of a true story. Hedy, you started the story, and then Hisonni, you added your personal experiences as well. Is that true? And I'll go with Hedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I brought the first draft to Hisonni, and that was, you know, I'm not a screenwriter. I learned how to write a screenplay off YouTube. But you know, my draft was really meant for a director to read and to understand my vision. And Hisonni did that, and then we started to rework the script together. We wrote stuff, changed stuff, adjust stuff, cut some things out, and then one thing that I learned, you know, that I didn't have in my first draft was Hisonni was like, "This script isn't really focused on you," and I'm like, "Oh, it's not," because I guess in my head, you know, I was just like, it was just experiences in the neighborhood, and Hisonni really helped me streamline the story and center on family. Like I said before I met Hisonni, I was just trying to figure out how to make this movie myself. So I was gonna have my mom play my mom, and her English isn't very fluent. So, you know, naturally I wouldn't have heavy mother scenes in my first draft because she would have to, you know, carry that. And I just wanted something really easy for her to play.
Yeah, yeah. What I loved about this movie as well is that we take the stereotype of, you know, Chinese takeout food, and that not only like uplifting the voices, but the upward mobility of it all. So you can take that Chinese restaurant and put that anywhere. You can put it in Hollywood, you can put it in middle America, you can put it, you know, in corporate America. And it's the same thing. As minorities, we're all looking for the opportunity to have upward mobility. And I thought that that was incredible in the movie, because if you think about it, and I was thinking about it, if I think about any time that I've ordered food, and Chinese food specifically, I don't actually think of the plight of the small business owner, which in itself is a huge feat, right? To come as an immigrant, to start your own company, to run your own business, to work the long hours, just to have a better life for your family. That's quote unquote the American dream. And I think that you guys captured that incredibly in this movie.
Oh, thank you, Linda.
Well, that's the magic of cinema too, is for me, I only want to make films that elicit this sort of empathy through the main character's plight and journey and the events they overcome. I want to make films that elicit educated conversation between people who are not alike physically, but have walked in the same shoes for 90 minutes, long enough to feel like, oh, I have a better understanding of what you go through. Now let's talk. How can I help you? How can I understand you? What do you need from me? I feel like movies are one of the greatest tools we have to make another person understand the struggles, the pain, the frustration that we go through. Because how fair is it for someone who's never tasted a life like Tera's to judge her and punish her?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what the criminal justice system is right now. So this film, I hope it makes people take a good look at criminality, at the way they judge other communities. And again, like, if you can walk in her shoes and you find the film entertaining and you're rooting for her at all, I hope it lets you know that, like, people in the Asian American community are just like you.
100%. And to build off of that, my next question was, what does criminality look like? Because we can talk about blue collar crime, we can talk about white collar crime, but at the end of the day, crime is crime. And it's unfortunate that the world we're living in says this is what a criminal looks like. And I think that with Tera, her character, she blows that myth out of the water, right? Because again, she's supposed to be whatever society says she's supposed to be.
Now, I love that you said that. But the thing is, we just spent billions of dollars bailing out criminals, bankers, people who stole money, and we don't consider them criminals.
Right.
So again, like, our perception of what criminals are is based purely on the appearance of the criminal. And for me, what Tera does is incredibly gray. It's not black or white. My biggest contribution to the film is growing up in the most segregated city in America, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a zip code 53206, where more Black men are incarcerated per capita than any other place in the world. and infusing the experience of watching Hillary Clinton call me and my friends and all the people in my neighborhood super predators, and then watching them disappear slowly but surely, and wishing people could understand that the people they incarcerated, those were the guys who picked up the bill for your mom when she couldn't get the air conditioner fixed in the middle of the summer, or gave you gas money so you can go to, get groceries or anything you needed. Those boys, because they were children, they were young people who were out there hustling, were an important part of the ecosystem of my hood. And they were just snatched away, and they left us all in a very bad situation, when in reality, there should have been someone who understood the way the ecosystem worked and addressed it accordingly, not cookie cutter, as if things are cookie cutter. Because again, if Tera was white, she would have ended up working on Wall Street with the exact same skill set, and she would have killed it. And that's the tragedy of minority life. For Asian Americans, for Blacks, for Latinos, our talents are being underutilized and being misunderstood as harmful to society, when in reality, they could easily be redirected towards something that could build us all up. If Tera, that's the real tragedy of the story, is if Tera was pointed in the right direction, she could have redefined Wall Street and trading and become a multi-billionaire, and we'd be putting her on the cover of magazines.
100%. Now, Hedy, since this is loosely based on a true story, I wanted to know how you prepared for your role in this and what it was like to actually play a character that you were so familiar with.
Well, some parts came easier and some parts didn't, because it's still, and this is one thing I learned from Hisonni, we're not doing a documentary, like there has to be a journey. There has to be arcs in your performance. I can't play mad all the time. That's just, there's no direction with that. And I'm really glad he gave me those directions, because it just expanded my range. The whole, the anger, the pain, I was familiar with that. So that was easier to bring through. It was really the scenes where Hisonni was like, in this scene, you could smile a little bit. Now I'm like, okay, sure. I'm just like, but that's just, but that's great for me, because I have to learn too, to just, I have to enjoy all the other emotions in life too, because sometimes we tend to dwell on, some too long. And but it's my first featured film. Apparently Hisonni said I was terrified. I guess I was, but when you're in the moment, it's really just, what do I got to do to execute and finish this, So I think all the PTSD came later.
You did an incredible job. I do want to also ask you, how did it feel to kind of take on a role that you don't see in Hollywood every day? So you don't see, the Asian American who is single parent and running a restaurant and dealing with like crime and fear and being a female in a predominantly, male society. How did you deal with that? And also, how important was it for you specifically to break the stereotype? And I'll say this with this backstory. Again, you think, hey, you see this Asian American, she's smart, she's going to be successful, she's good with numbers, and I can go on with all of those stereotypes. In this movie, you're able to take all those stereotypes, use that with your words as a superpower, and smash the stereotype all in like, what, 90 minutes?
Yeah, when I was younger, I was very aware of the stereotypes, they have against, with Asians, because some people be like, well, isn't that better than being targeted? Well, I mean, during this, during COVID, you could see that, there's a lot of Asians being assaulted right in front of a whole bunch of people, and nobody comes. I don't know if everybody saw footage in New York where the lady gets like, I guess like somebody just kicks her and then stomps her on her head. It was in front of a really nice apartment building. Nobody came. You know, I think the security people just shut the door on her. And that's another side of invisibility that people, you know, don't think about, you know. I'm sorry, what was the first question again? Sorry.
How did it feel to be able to smash that stereotype by playing this character while using it as your superpower?
It feels good. It feels, you know what I'm saying? It feels good. I feel a little shy sometimes because it's kind of like, you know, it's these thoughts you have in your head and now you've seen it all playing the screen and you're like, oh, I wonder what other people think about that now, you know? It feels good. And really, you know, me and Lauren always says like, you know, it's about time that we put the type of Asians that, you know, we know, on screen and to see, and I think it's something we're doing it for the culture too, you know, because we know there's a lot of, you know, Asians youth who don't see themselves on screen like that, you know, and I really hope this movie gives them that experience.
Listen, the movie's going to give them that experience because I'll tell you what I took away. What I loved about seeing this movie is that from a Black perspective, I personally, and I'm only speaking for my personal thoughts, is that I'm tired of seeing the slave movie. And for Asian Americans, I'm tired of seeing like the karate movie or martial arts movie. And we have so much more depth and diversity to who we are as individuals. And you know what I think is going to resonate with whoever it is all across the world is the fact that we all have a common plight. We all want to better our lives. We all care for our family first and foremost, and we all want upward mobility. So I think that you hit all of those points in this movie, and we just need more of them. I'm just very proud of you two, and I think that, you know, I know it takes a village, and it's more than just the two of you, but it started with you guys, and so congratulations on that. When does the movie come out? Who wants to answer that question?
Go ahead, Sonny.
May 18th of 2021. Our distributor 1091 has done an amazing job of rolling this film out, and we are super excited about it. Linda, you are amazing. You have given me enough confidence to go out and really wreck it on my next film. I really appreciate you. And I'll tell you, Linda, for me as a filmmaker, it is my duty to enlighten people about African-American culture and about the Black experience here in America, but it is definitely my honor to tell the stories of Asians, Latinos, LGBT, and any other underrepresented community here in America.
100%. 100%. Congratulations. So it releases May 18th, video on demand. And if I'm missing something, let me know. But my understanding it's iTunes, Vudu, Amazon Prime, and Fandango,
and DirecTV.
And DirecTV, you guys. Make sure that you are checking out Take Out Girl, May 18th. Everywhere you want to stream, there it is. And it's an important story. And again, I want to say it's an important story, not just for minorities, just for everyone, because we can all relate to the struggle. We can all relate to upward mobility. We can all relate to like just wanting a better life. And that's what this story is about. Hisonni and this Tera character is so great. You guys did an amazing job. Hedy and Hisonni, I appreciate you guys. And I don't want to give away the ending, but I'm just going to tell you right now, go ahead and start writing because I'm going to need a part 2 because the ending, y'all, the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got you, Linda.
Listen, I'm already hooked. I'm like, wait, this is not a mini series. There's not a part 2. What am I supposed to do with myself? Now I'm stuck with my thoughts. I have to have another ending. So that just means that I need a part 2. And I'm already put this on you. This can be like a trilogy. You know how there are franchise movies? This is the beginning of a franchise movie for you guys because you can do so much with this. So congratulations. I will be watching it again May 18th. And Where can people find you? Because that was the other thing I wanted. Where can people find you? Do you guys have a social media presence?
Yeah, I only have one social media. I'm on Instagram. The handle is Juliet Must Die. No spaces, just Juliet Must Die.
Excellent. And
And you can find the film at Takeout Girl Feature Film on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can find me at Hisonni J on Instagram.
And last but not least, what are you guys working on next? What's the next project for both of you?
Well, for me, I'm working on this horror supernatural thriller with my friend Justin Graves. He's from South Carolina, and it's the movie's based on a folklore from the Gullah culture, and that's his culture. And so I'm just really excited to really just develop that, and I think that's going to be my next project, and hopefully it'll come alive soon.
Oh, it will come alive. And Hisonni?
I just wrapped a project with Hedy Wong as a producer called Blunt. And it is the story of a interracial lesbian couple who bridged the racial divide between themselves and their parents using the power of cannabis. And I plan on producing a series of short films with other directors and producers, pretty much covering coming of age stories for underrepresented community, members of the underrepresented community here in America. So that's what I have coming up.
Wonderful. Again, you guys, thank you so much. Takeout Girl, releasing video on demand May 18th of this year.
Thank you.
Mean a lot.
A wonderful interview too. This is amazing. Like I didn't have a chance to to thank you, thank you, and also just thank you to the Black community, Brown community, Indigenous community, Asian community, because I was discussing with my team members, Hisonni and other producers. It's this is how it's amazing how all the communities are coming together, like the Avengers, defeating Thanos at the end. You know, and then the people from Wakanda come, Guardians of the Galaxy come, the people, everybody just showed up. Doctor Strange peoples came because we've been supported. We had so much support from the Black community. Shout out to Greg Maurice at 1091 Studios. He was the one that found us at ABFF. And then we were just on Telemundo. You know what I'm saying? That support, that's a lot of support. I'm just so excited, man. It really just shows what we could achieve in solidarity,
100%. And
True.
It's interesting that it took a pandemic and it took the racial injustices that have happened in the last year and a half to really show us all that, hey, you know what? We're different, but we're the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all, like I said, we all want that upward mobility and we just want the opportunities. And I think that we talk about diversity and representation and we wait for our opportunity, but now we're creating the opportunities by coming together. And I think that's really amazing.
Agreed.
And inspiring.
Thank you so much, Linda.
But thank you so much. And I will be looking out for more of your work.
Take care, Linda.
Bye, guys.
Bye.